The courtroom smelled of polished wood and tension. I sat at the back, fingers clenched around my notebook, a paper shield against the world that had branded me a failure. My sister was on trial, her arrogance filling the room like smoke. My parents' eyes flicked toward me once, then darted away. They had already told everyone I'd lost. Lost in business, lost in love, lost to life itself. I watched her smirk at the prosecutor, confident, untouchable. And I sat still, quiet, calculating. It hadn't always been this way. I remember the day we first met. She had stormed into my life like a hurricane, bright, chaotic, alive. I was younger, naive, believing in honesty, in family. She was my sister, my partner in everything. I trusted her with my secrets, my ambitions, my heart. We had built plans together, dreams stitched from late-night whispers and shared victories. I thought loyalty was mutual. I was wrong. The first cracks were subtle. A misdirection here, a slip of truth there. Nothing I could pin. But the patterns emerged. Conversations that didn't add up. Business deals mysteriously gone wrong. Then, the text I found one night. Her laughing over my downfall with the very people I had confided in. Shock. Heat rising. A betrayal sharper than any blade. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I didn't run. I watched. Control became my weapon. Observation became my ally. I mapped every move she made, cataloged every weakness, every overconfidence. I spoke to lawyers, accountants, even former allies she had discarded. Slowly, quietly, I constructed a network around her life, invisible yet impenetrable. Each step of hers that had once felt free became predictable under my gaze. I waited. Patience was key. Revenge is an art, not a tantrum. I began subtly. Corrected misfiles she had accidentally left in court records. Redirected her investors' attention toward legal discrepancies I had unearthed. Anonymous tips, minor, plausible, frustrating her at every turn. I watched her crumble in private, the arrogance in her eyes flickering with doubt. She didn't see me. She never did. Not until the perfect moment. The perfect moment came today. The judge looked up from his papers as she finished her testimony, disbelief crossing his face. "Wait, you're—" he whispered, leaning toward me. The courtroom froze. My parents' jaws slackened. Even the jury shifted uncomfortably, sensing something unsaid but monumental. She turned. Smirk still plastered, but there was a tremor now, an instinctive recognition that the tide had shifted. I stood slowly, deliberately, the room shrinking around me as all eyes followed. "Yes," I said. Calm, measured, every syllable a hammer. "I am." It wasn't vengeance shouted from the rooftops. It was surgical. I had replaced her where it mattered, subtly, legally, invisibly. Her schemes crumbled under the weight of my preparation. Investors pulled out. Testimonies I had quietly collected became her undoing. She had no idea how deeply I had infiltrated the life she thought she controlled. And now, all the pieces she had toyed with, contracts, assets, alliances, folded against her. Every subtle laugh at my failures had been noted, cataloged, and transformed into ammunition. She tried to speak. The words faltered. The room was silent, awaiting her miracle that would never come. I leaned back, letting the tension draw out, each heartbeat echoing like a drum. I didn't need to gloat. The walls of her arrogance were collapsing on their own. The aftermath was quiet. She left the courtroom defeated, escorted by officers, a shadow of the person who once ruled her small kingdom of influence. My parents stayed seated, faces pale, eyes wide. No congratulations, no relief, just stunned acknowledgement that the child they had dismissed, The failure had orchestrated an entire reversal without a single dramatic misstep. I smiled once, privately, in the solitude of the witness room. Not for her downfall, but for the control regained, the justice served, and the silence I had maintained throughout. I didn't need cheers. The proof was in their silence, the tremor in her hands, the realization that she had underestimated me entirely. I walked out of that courtroom differently, lighter, sharper, not free of the past, but free from its chains. I had not screamed, I had not struck blindly. I had waited, watched, and acted with precision. And in that precision, I found a kind of peace. I had been told I failed. They had believed my story ended in humiliation. But I had authored the final chapter. And in that chapter, I rose. The betrayal had been bitter, the planning meticulous, the execution flawless. And now, as I stepped into the sunlight, I realized revenge is a quiet thing. It doesn't shout, it whispers, and it delivers exactly what justice, carefully applied, is meant to deliver.